I don't know who actually taught Triple H to actually book, unless he just learned it from Vince or learned it from some head of creative. But he's been doing a really, really good job. And what I like about him, he doesn't get in a hurry.
But yes, we're going to finish up things here and talk about WWE Fastlane, the last premium live event from WWE. This was more or less a B show, but a very fun one. They did have a major noteworthy result in the opener as Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeated the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest to become the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. Great matchup. Very satisfying result for the fans in Indianapolis. But everybody's more or less talking about the performance of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso after a couple of drinks on Cody Rhodes' bus during the press conference. But I do want to ask, what do you think about this result and overall the pairing of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, who are following kind of a similar path that prior losers to Roman Reigns felt, as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lost at Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber respectively, and then won the tag team titles at WrestleMania. Cody lost at WrestleMania, and then Jay lost at SummerSlam, and now they win the tag team titles. What do you think about this pairing? And what do you think?
You mentioned they lost. Oh, I think it's great because now Cody's in the story. Yeah. Somewhere you got to involve these people in the story somewhere, and then you get your result later on. But at least he's in the story, and wins and losses doesn't mean anything really, unless it's super, super, super important. There's nowhere else to go with it. But now that he's in on the story, Jey Uso and Cody are together. So now it doesn't seem like if they hadn't have been tagged in this, say later on a SmackDown, for Cody to run in and help his buddy, now it doesn't seem out in left field. Now it seems like he's been introduced to the story, and now for him showing up, it makes total sense. And every time they do something like that, they open up just about 8 more matches. They can do anything with it they want. But again, I go back to my old saying, don't rush it, take your time, and it'll get you there. So, and I also thought that the pay-per-view was a B show too. Sometimes I think WWE, they spoil their own fans because fans are expecting a blowout every time they're on. You're not going to get that. And the reason you're not going to get that is because you actually blow out your later ideas for future pay-per-views. It just got to be a solid pay-per-view, open some doors. Not necessarily close. I haven't seen him close any doors at all, but I've seen him open a ton. So when that creative team is sitting around and said, well, what about this? And I love that because now nothing is wasted, I don't think. The only thing that'll be wasted if they do bring CM Punk over and they do something stupid with him, which I don't foresee that happening. I don't know who actually taught Triple H to actually book, unless he just learned it from Vince or learned it from some head of creative. But he's been doing a really, really good job. And what I like about him, he doesn't get in a hurry. So, and that saves a lot of it for later on.
Yeah, so you had that result. You also had the return of Carlito making his return, joining up with the LWO to pick up a victory over Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Carlito, it's been months since he's been signed with WWE and then finally making his return here. What do you think about Carlito being back with the company, and what is your experience? I know you have experience with Carlito's family working over in Puerto Rico, but what do you think about Carlito joining back up with WWE?
I started Carlito, and I started it with an angle Ray Gonzalez, who was her big heel, I started telling him, I said, this is about 3 weeks before we shot the angle. I said, we were trying to take over the company. And of course, everybody knew that Carlos owned it. I said, tell him in Spanish, of course, and I'll agree with you like I understand it, which got heat really. I said, yeah, that's exactly what I think. But we kept talking about when we take over the company, there'll be no room for anybody with the last name of Colon. And Carlitos, he was actually running the camera. So when we talked to him, the camera's in front of us, we would turn and look like this and look right at him. And I'd point to him. And that got a lot of attention on Carlito. He hadn't even stepped into the ring to train. So finally, Carlos running the ring about 3 weeks later and told us that, hey, he's not even a wrestler, so you need to get off him. Blah, blah, blah. We said, oh, shut up, old man. Then we started beating the crap out of Carlos. And then now we put the camera on Carlitos. Is he going to go? Is he not going to go to defend his dad? Here he comes. The place fell out. So when he come in there, I told him later, I said, do I owe you money or something? He said, why? I said, you almost knocked my ass out. God dang, I was going to sell it, but damn. And when we left, we almost had a riot when we left because somebody hit me in the side. Oh my God. And somebody hit Ray Gonzalez. And he came up to me. The people were so excited. And Carlitos had never even had a match up to then. And this was like, we shutting down at Christmas. This was about the end of November or later on. We're going to shut down in a week or two. The first time that Carlos went up against Ray Gonzalez, I was in the corner. I think Carlitos was in the corner. We sold it out again. I mean, it wasn't no 18,000 seat arena, but it was about a 5,000 seat arena. But we sold it out. So even though he had had no matches, still the people, they wanted to see that. So, and we had a hot run with it. I remember Ray Gonzalez came back. He was my top heel. He said, he doesn't cuss or anything, but he went, F this. He said, I ain't doing it no more. I am not doing it. He said, I am not touching that kid anymore because the people were like fanatical with it. They loved him. So the first time we went outside with it and this is called Three Kings Day. It's a holiday. It's a Christmas holiday, Three Kings Day. We sold at the big stadium and they almost beat Ray Gonzalez to death on the way back. And he lost. He lost the match and they beat the crap out of him. And he said, I ain't doing it again. I'm telling you, I'm not doing it anymore. But we had good business with him. Carlitos is very good because he broke into the business. He understands the business. And I like Carlitos' style. He don't get excited or he eats the apple and spits out, you know. I've never seen that angle before, but it works for him. So.
Absolutely glad to see him back with the company. You had Io Sky picking up a victory over Charlotte Flair and Asuka in a three-way matchup, retaining the WWE Women's Championship. You also had John Cena and LA Knight picking up a win over the Bloodline. John Cena, of course, getting the biggest response of the night, but LA Knight picking up probably the biggest win of his WWE run so far, of being aligned with John Cena and getting the respect of John Cena. What have you been thinking about this extra push for LA Knight? Something you've been calling for this one is legit, like 6 months to a year. You've been calling for LA Knight to get the push.
Okay, when I was watching him go out there and just get beat every week, I said, they're missing the boat on this guy. Why? But maybe, again, they took their time. They listened to the people. But more importantly, they watched those gimmick sales, those T-shirt sales, those photo sales, or whatever. I said, damn, he's our top seller. So we need to do something with him. And they did. And now he's a top guy. And he came from 0 to 100 in a matter of, he could have done it 6 months ago, probably. But again, judging by my own opinion. They took their time, and now he's in a great, great spot.